All right, wonderful. Well, this week we were asked to write 3 letters to 3 different people that we're grateful for. And we were supposed to purchase a little treat and hand deliver it to them. And then we were supposed to discuss it as part of our discussion tonight. So, has anybody accomplished that? Has anybody actually delivered their letter and their treat to the at least one of the people that they thought of?
I have my letters written, but I have not handed them out yet.
Okay.
Uh, not all of them are here in person, so I mailed some.
Okay. Perfect. Travis, were you able to deliver them yet?
Not yet.
Sounds like we're all in the same boat. We've all written them, but we haven't delivered them. So let's just talk about some of the feelings we had as we wrote the letters to one of the. I'll start. One of the people I decided to write to is a former boss of mine. He was a great mentor to me to get me into the leadership position I am in, and he continues to mentor me as I have problems, as I have struggles, as I have things come up. I know I can always go to him and get some sound advice. He was in the leadership position in his realm in the military, and also for 30 years in the business field. So he has a lot of experience of leadership. So I wrote a letter to him just expressing my gratitude for him taking the time to mentor me, teach me, and as he continues to do it, it's just an amazing thing. And one thing that I've learned about gratitude for me anyway is it gets me very emotional. And I don't know if it's by definition that's just kind of what it is, because gratitude is a personal connection, a deep personal connection with somebody. And so to me, I get emotional as I talk about it. But he was one of the one that I decided to write to, and I'll always hold him in high regard.
Okay. Well, for me, I guess how I felt while writing them, along with feeling just grateful and the more obvious factors. Some of them for me was like, wow, I want to be like that person. And I guess with what happened had to do with like sharpening the saw this week in the habit 7 or whatever it was. Some of the things that I thought of while doing this was, well, what like do I need to do differently to be like this person? Like, what do I need to like change in my life, or like how have I seen their example in this fact that will help me do this thing or that thing? And just looking back, it was kind of like, well, I'm definitely on the right track, or like, okay, yeah, this thing they do a whole lot better. And just writing the letter, I was kind of one of the things I wrote was just that they probably wouldn't recognize the profound impact that they had on me because, well, I don't live with them anymore, like live near them. So, but that is there, and just yeah, I would definitely relate to the habit 7 this week.
Good. Travis, Justin, what do you guys?
So I wrote one letter to my wife, and just basically thanking her for being a great wife and best friend and mother, and let her know that she's appreciated, and um, she's just basically I said that she's a super mom. um, and then I wrote one to my grandpa, and that one got me a little bit emotional writing it. I'm from a family that doesn't really, we love each other a lot, but we don't show it or say it very much. So um, I was just basically saying that he was a great example for me growing up. And then lastly, I wrote one to my current boss, who's been a great mentor and leader for me.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, this one's kind of, it's kind of hard sometimes to put it down in words, to
Yeah.
make, get that expression out that I wanted. It kind of takes a few drafts before it kind of comes the way. It's not the same as when you tell them personally. It's in letter. It's like it's hard to write it, and like you say, you get emotional about it. So because it's like okay, because you're kind of putting yourself out there, but it's somebody that I respect. So it's like okay, I can do this, but still, it's that vulnerability, and so because like. One of my coworkers, has just been a good friend, and for my wife, but even like a kid, it's like okay, the example, like okay, I'm learning from you, you're helping me. Sometimes I need it. I mean, my patriarchal blessing, which says I have to bridle my temper. It's right in there. It's that big of a thing, so it's it's kind of hard. So it's like that emotion.
Great. Thank you, guys. That's wonderful. And I can't. I guess I really don't know what emotions I'm going to feel once I deliver them, but I can imagine that some of the emotions that I felt writing it definitely probably come to the surface when I go and deliver it. And sometimes we need to make ourselves vulnerable and be seen as something different than what we like to be seen as. So that's a good thing. So wonderful. So organizations, what is the role of gratitude in organizations? And have you seen any examples on how it increases effectiveness?
Yeah, I put gratitude. Gratitude can take many shapes. Mostly you see you get a thank you, whether it's verbal or in a written email, but other forms include like a pay raise, team lunches or one-on-one lunches, bonuses, or verbal or written praises.
For an organization, what I was seeing also is that from my experience is that when you are grateful to everyone in the organization, especially the leaders, they're going to work harder because they recognize that, okay, this recognizes what I'm doing or whatever the case is. So people just work hard as a whole so they feel better.
All right, how I've seen when somebody's grateful, and it impacts such job satisfaction, loyalty, citizenship behavior, and reduces the turnover rate. And I've seen more things go the other way than so much as the grateful, where because unfortunately my job has a high turnover rate, and a lot of that I go, well, we have a retention problem, but our real problem is a creative problem that's causing our retention problem because they don't feel appreciated. Because I've had those bosses where I felt appreciated, and I knew it wasn't just lip service. They really appreciated what was being done, and so it's like, okay, I will do anything for this person. I got one of those. He's a lieutenant now, and he's on the same unit that I am. He asked me to do anything. I'd walk through fire for this guy because that's the level of gratitude I have for him for the things that he's done. And there's others, nothing. You couldn't motivate me enough. And so that's where I see gratitude. You motivate me, because you honestly care. It's not, I'm going to manipulate you into doing this. I'm going to express true feelings here.
And I think you hit it on the head there about true feelings, because when I first got put into the leadership position I'm in, there was one of my coworkers, and I was having a conversation with him, and he did something, and I was talking to him about the project that he had finished, and he just rocked it. And so I was just up there, and I was giving my thanks to him, and man, you did this, and he just turned around and he says, yeah, just a whole bunch more lip service is what I get everywhere I get. And I just thought, what? And at first I thought, are you just saying that you don't believe anything I said? And the more I thought about it, a day or two later, I thought, how sad that he doesn't take somebody seriously, because his whole career has just been nothing but lip service and no true meaning behind it. And so when Travis says, you got to have that true feeling, and you got to be pure with it. I think we're not dumb. People aren't dumb. We know when it's truth. We know when it's sincere. We know when it's just fluff. And so I think Travis hit it right on the head. We gotta be honest and true with the feelings that we're expressing. So great. What are some barriers that we have in expressing our gratitude?
I think the biggest one, like I said, it's that vulnerability. Being willing to open up and say something. When and mean it. But also I think sometimes our acceptance of it, like that guy that you were talking about, he didn't accept it from you, and you were meaning it. So we have to be willing to accept it. And I think, it kind of, as they say, it's the two-way street, the sender and the recipient. I like that little graph that they had in the gratitude at work. And I was like, yeah, that pretty much hit it. Like, if both people aren't on the same path, doesn't matter. You could be as grateful to that person as you want, but they're not going to hear it. Or you could be not willing to receive it, and even though they're truly being grateful for your work.
I agree.
And along with having a hard time receiving it, I feel like sometimes we just don't say it because in our minds we think, oh, what's the point? They already know. Like, they already know that I'm grateful, or if I tell them, they're just going to be like, they won't make a big deal of it, kind of with the acceptance part of it. So I would say that for me, that's one of the biggest factors, along with vulnerability, that people just justify or rationalize that the person already knows.
Good. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
For me, like verbally giving someone gratitude might be a little awkward sometimes. Sometimes it's just best to put it, for me, just like writing these letters. I mean, it was hard writing the letters, but putting, having the time to put my thoughts down versus kind of being on the spot, for that part was easier.
Yeah, and that, I think the fear of somebody seeing your vulnerability, in my mind, I always think, are they gonna take my vulnerability and they're gonna jump on it and they're gonna exploit it and they're gonna, and I don't know why I think that about people, because it's good. There's not a handful of people out there that I work with that would be malicious if I was to show a vulnerability, but yet that's still in the back of my mind of, if I show this vulnerability, are they going to use it against me? And so just that fear is for me a barrier that keeps me from doing it. A question that I have that's not part of that is can you over express your gratitude? I mean, can you say it too much to where it's just like, okay, here it is again. It's just words again. It's just, you say it too much.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's possible. Because like anything, if it's always there and you're always saying it, then it doesn't have the same meaning anymore. Kind of like, I don't know about you guys, they do like employee of the month, and stuff like that, where it's like, there's not a whole lot of meaning behind that. Did I really do anything to really get this? Or are we just, he got it last month, so you can have it this month, and we'll go on to the next person. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling very grateful for that reward. It's like, but when it's truly given, it's like, hey, we just completed this project. Thank you for your time and for your effort. Okay. But every day, I mean, you can tell everybody thank you every day for their job, but like when you really express that gratitude, I think you really have to, I don't want to say, special, you'll hold off on it till it really means something, but really mean when you say it, don't say it too much that it's doesn't have that meaning anymore.
Okay, good. All right. Well, those were the questions they wanted us to go over in our discussion. Are there any other of the questions that you guys want to discuss before we move on? All right. Well,
I'm good.
oh, sorry.
No, I'm good.
We're good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
So let's move on to the three articles that we were supposed to read. The one by President Monson, The Divine Gift of Gratitude. What stuck out to you guys on this article?
I really like that story, Gordon. It's like, the dad looking over at the mom, going, you spend all day, spend more time washing clothes. How about we get electricity? Which meant, he wasn't going to get what he wanted, that hay loader, but his wife was going to benefit, by getting that. And then they got power and lights, things changed, but then they had that bad harvest. And everybody was so disappointed when it came to Thanksgiving, a jackrabbit for Thanksgiving. And it's like, oh, this is terrible. And he goes up and he gets those oil lamps, brings them back down, turns off the power, and just sits around with this oil lamp. And they're looking around going, how did we ever see in here with that? And I think sometimes that's kind of us, and that's kind of what struck me was, how many times am I not grateful for that I do have, because I'm thinking about the things that I don't have.
Yeah.
And so it kind of put it in perspective for me, and when you're truly grateful, then, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, you're just like, hey, this is great. This is wonderful.
Going along with that, there was the quote from President Joseph F. Smith that said, "The grateful man sees so much in the world to be thankful for, and with him the good outweighs the evil." So, like you were saying, if we are more grateful, we'll notice less the things we don't have and more the things that we have.
Wonderful. Justin, any thoughts from you?
No, I mean, I'm with Travis. I really like that last story about but the family got electricity. It just really kind of helps put in perspective the things that you kind of take for granted, and helps kind of show you what you can be grateful for.
Yeah. One thing that I really liked that jumped out at me is he says, if ingratitude be numbered among the serious sins, then gratitude takes its place among the noblest of virtues. Someone has said that gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. You start thinking about the virtues out there, and gratitude right there among them. That says a lot. And coupled with what you guys have said, I would do better if I found gratitude every day instead of complaining about what I don't have or the situation I find myself in. Look for the things that I do have. I don't I can complain, and I do complain way too much every single day. No, but I could praise all day long if I really wanted to sit down and think about the blessings and the things that I do have. I could praise all day long and be grateful. So I think it's a matter of seeing the cup half full or half empty type of deal. And if I'm looking at it as a half empty, I'm going to be upset. But if I'm looking at it as I still have a half a cup to go, I'm grateful for that half a cup. Things would be a lot better. So wonderful. All right, let's go to the second one. Foster a Culture of Gratitude by Christine M. Riordan.
Well, that Remember the Titans is probably one of my favorite movies because it is just great. You know, you take two completely different groups, stick them together. And it's like going, and they're not getting along. They're fighting with each other. They're just being horrible. Because I just recently watched this movie. And so I'm like going, yeah, you know, and he makes them. But I like how it's like, you know, took him to, you know, takes his high school football team to the battleground. I'm like, no, he ran them all the way there. Through the woods, through the swamp. It was no pleasure cruise. You know, then gets them there and then gives them that speech. And I'm like going, you know, and then it's like, okay, look, you're going to get to know them, you know, something about them, and you're going to report back. And it changed that whole team. They came together. They started communicating with each other. And the one, you know, was like, hey, look, you know, you got to talk to this kid because he's not doing stuff. And so then they started, and it just, you know, they just gelled. And I was just it. It was like, look, you're a team. You're going to have to figure out how you guys are going to work together to do this. And I think that's any team that you be part of. There's always, you know, at first, team's not very cohesive. And then it just, you know, it can gel. And you're just good no matter what comes your way.
Yeah, I agree.
At the bottom, it talks about that lady's blog, like the 3 bullet points at the end. I mean, I was looking at the blog earlier, and kind of not part of the article, but I just liked what she said in her blog too. It says, "Forget the empty platitudes. Your star employee is not a quote-unquote. They are a person deserving of your not infrequent acknowledgement and worthy of appreciation and respect. When was the last time you thanked them, really thanked them?" So, like what she was saying, no employee is a godsend. Like, they worked hard, you hired them, so they deserve the recognition that is involved in that.
Great. Thanks. Justin, you got any thoughts?
No.
Okay. So the thing that I liked about that one, it was at the very bottom, it says taking the time and effort to create a culture that values and appreciates the diversity and similarity within a team can reap great rewards in terms of performance and satisfaction of the entire team. When I read that, I immediately went to, sharpening the saw, and how he started off with it, walking into the guy, he'd been there for 5 hours trying to saw that tree down. And he says, well, why don't you just take a little bit of a break and sharpen your saw and make it easier? I don't have time to sharpen my saw. I have got to cut this tree down with this dull saw blade. And I actually laughed out loud thinking, that's how silly are you? I mean, you're working your guts out with this dull saw. Take a few minutes to sharpen it, and then it's going to make your life easier. No, I'm too busy. I can't take the time to do that. I'm too busy. And as fast as I started laughing at how ridiculous in my mind that sounded, I immediately stopped laughing. You fool, you do the same thing. I'm too busy to take a few minutes to do something to improve the situation because you're just too busy and running and whatnot. And so I like that. It said take the time and effort to create that culture. Sharpen the saw, do it right, and make it a lot easier on yourself and everybody around you.
Yeah, that my boss was just telling me was talking to me the other day. We have a customer who's kind of a it's kind of tough to deal with a little bit, and we're trying to work through some things. And he's saying that we need to slow down before we can go faster. So we got to basically take a step back, figure out a game plan, and get things right, and then we can move forward, and things will go a lot smoother. So
Yeah.
I kind of think reminds me of the song of the tree.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
then the other thing I
Oh,
liked
sorry.
about sorry. The other
Go
thing I
ahead.
liked about this article was, like the three principles, help others develop, involve the employees, and support the camaraderie. And you think about it, it's like going, when you're involved in those decisions, even if they don't take your opinion, they at least ask. But they got to take it at least once in a while. Because they never take it, then it's kind of the same thing. It's like, well, do they really care what my opinion is here? But even developing people, develop them. Don't let them just stagnate there, because then you lose them. Those kind of struck out at me. So.
Well, and the same thing, you go back to Remember the Titans. It was about the whole team. It wasn't about the individual, and they were developing the entire team. They weren't just working on one or two players. They were developing everybody. They were involving everybody, and they supported everybody. And in the end, they ended up with the team that they ended up with. And so if you think of your team at work, the same thing. We're there to help each other, involve, and if you truly work as a team, then it needs to be the team effort, and that's helping others develop and improving them, which is going to improve the team, which is going to improve everything about it. And then it makes it even a more enjoyable place to go to work. You get up in your morning and you're like, oh crap, I have to go to work. Oh crap. I mean, you think about how many hours you spend at work compared to home. I mean, you're spending a lot of hours away from your family, and so you might as well make it a good situation and a good environment to go to.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your comments. The last one, gratitude at work, from Charles D. Kearns. Oh, I just got the thing. We're running out of time. It's gonna end in 10 minutes, so we'll have to hurry.
Okay, for me on this one, I really liked strategy number 2, which is want what you have. The first step of it, well, basically all of it just says the part at the beginning, you need to recognize your ungrateful thoughts. So I hadn't really thought of that. Like, first think of all the ungrateful thoughts you have and kind of reasoning behind those. And then after you think of your ungrateful thoughts, think of your grateful thoughts and how they counteract those ungrateful thoughts. So you can turn basically most ungrateful thoughts, I was saying, to positive, grateful thoughts if you're able to counteract the two and think of it, kind of use the analogy of doing sales. And if you feel like you get put in a bad area, instead of having a negative attitude like, oh, I'm in this garbage area, have the attitude of I'm a good salesman and I can improve in this area. So just counteracting your negative thoughts with positive ones of gratitude will help you.
Great. Travis, Justin, any thoughts from you on this one?
Yeah, this is the one where it had that graph on it that I really liked. The recipient and the the receiver. The sender and the recipient. And it's how what you both have to be willing to accept it and give it. And I think also even as the employee, you can show gratitude toward your employer. It doesn't have to just be from the employer to the employee.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they feel that, what, you're grateful for that job that you have with them. And they're more inclined to listen to you when you bring up something, because they know you really like your job and you want this to succeed. And so, there's gratitude there.
I agree. I've never thought of it going the opposite direction, but it absolutely is a two-way street from employee to employer. I agree with that. Thanks. Justin, anything from you?
Well, I just think grateful employees tend to do better at their jobs. They care for where they work. grateful employees will tend to stick around longer and just be respected more in general.
I think there was one sentence in here that talks about it. Let's see, effectively applied in the workplace. For instance, gratitude may positively impact such factors as job satisfaction, loyalty. The word loyalty really jumped out at me. No, I don't know if it's just me and what I'm seeing, but having somebody be loyal to the company or having a company be loyal to the employee, that's kind of a lost thing anymore. And very very seldom do you find somebody that stays with the company for as many years as they used to back in the day. And I think that loyalty has kind of gone by the wayside. But if both sides, like Travis said, employer to employee, employee to employer, are more grateful to each other, I think then that loyalty stays, and you end up with less turnover. You end up with a good, strong group that's been there and has the camaraderie together, and they have the experience together. You got yourself a rock star team because of the loyalty that they have. And so gratitude, one thing I've learned this week in reading, gratitude touches every aspect of my life. I used to think of it as just one principle or one value and work on that, but I've learned that for me, it touches every aspect. And if I am more grateful, then every aspect of my life is going to benefit from it and be better. So this week's really helped me out as far as an individual goes. I hope that you guys have felt the same thing.
Yeah, I've liked this one.
Great. Any last thoughts that maybe anybody may have? No? Good. I hope you guys have good experiences when you deliver the letters. We definitely won't talk about that because we won't meet again after we do it. But I hope you have good experiences, and and I hope that this has probably been the most influential week for me as far as learning and really touching me is this gratitude. Probably because it's the one thing I really need to work on the most. But anyway, it's been fantastic. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your comments and your teaching. I learn from you guys every single week. I really appreciate it and being part of this group. I've not had good experiences with groups in the past. I am so grateful that we have a great group that I'm a part of here. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I've been part of only a few good groups, but a few bad ones that are like, whoa, I don't want to be in this group anymore.
Yeah. I've had pretty good luck with groups so far. I guess I've heard that to say I really yet to have one that's been bad. So
you're lucky.
I guess so.
Well, you continue on.
There's still time yet.
Right, let me stop the recording.